Hi, my name's Ruth. I'm here for Connect Music to give you some of my top funding tips, given there are a number of deadlines coming up and all of you want some funding. I'm an artist manager. I write a column each week for an industry mail out about unsigned music. I'm also a consultant for a small label. I also do some assessing of funding applications for various different funding bodies. I've worked at a funder previously. That was the PRS Foundation. I've also applied for funding and been successful for my artists. And I've assessed for, like I say, different bodies as well. There is a lot of information already out there for you online. For this video though, I'm going to give you some really generalized tips. These are the common questions that come up, and hopefully these next 5 tips will help you avoid any major pitfalls. Number 1, read the website. Please. There is so much information already on there for whichever funding body you're applying for. 99% of the time, every question you could possibly have is answered on their guidance pages. If it's not, then they have contact details, they have their email address or often an office number. If your question isn't answered, don't think that you're being stupid or anything like that. It just takes time to kind of sit and work through it methodically until you find the answer that you need. Step 2, make sure that you're allocating adequate time to do your application. You'd be surprised how many people just click on the website and think that they can apply that day and hit the deadline, then are surprised that they have not received funding. Whatever you're applying for, whether it's early career and capped at 5K, or whether it's a much broader project, check the deadline. Step 1, read the website, and then work backwards and figure out how much time you're going to need in order to properly articulate your goals, have a clear plan, and make sure that every bit of criteria that they have stated you've managed to fit and achieve. Some funds require a reference from an industry professional. I'm not going to be able to send you a reference that you need kind of on the day. With Arts Council, for instance, their funds are done on a program called Grantium, which you need a profile on. That profile takes a couple of days to be approved. So again, kind of work backwards and then work it out realistically with your life, your home life, and so on. And just make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance. Number 3 is be clear. In your application, when you're writing down, that you started playing guitar age 4, you just have to succeed, your career goals, none of that matters. There are very clear questions that each funder wants an answer to, and they want you to answer that in a specific way that shows that you know what you're applying for, you know exactly how you're going to get there, and you know what you need to achieve your goals. You need to be really clear in writing out what your goals are, what it is you're hoping to achieve, how this specific fund is going to help you, who else is going to help you in achieving that, whether it's collaborators, whether it's a producer, whether it's mentorship. You have to succinctly plan out and communicate what it is you're going to do, how that's going to benefit you creatively and professionally. One thing I'd add to that is speak about your plan with someone else. They don't necessarily have to be in the industry. Obviously that's great if they recognize the things that you're talking about, but often, and I think with the Arts Council specifically, not every person who is doing their assessing is in new music. They're not always in, the world of music that you might be functioning in yourself. Have someone read it over for you. Things that you haven't necessarily thought about that you assume are kind of a given or that everyone understands. That's not always the case at all. Why do you need £1,000 for this? Who is that? What is that? Nobody knows. Assessors get hundreds and hundreds of applications, and they don't have time to kind of go off and Google what this is. That's when your friend checking it over can come in. It's useful. Number 4 is to research your budget. Budgets are, I don't think anyone enjoys them, but budgets are so important when you're applying for funding. You have to show that you have researched the costs. Don't just kind of put in PR campaign, $3,000. You have to break that down and tell us, well, what are you spending that money on? Who is the PR that you're contacting? Have you researched other artists that you really like? You like their PR campaign, you like what they've done on Instagram, you like what they've done with national press maybe. Show us that you've done the research. Show the funders that you have costed this out properly. Another thing on budget, make sure that you're checking the musicians union fees. If you have, musicians that you work with all the time who might be happy to just take 50 quid or whatever it might be, it doesn't fly. So figure out what the rates are for the session musicians that you need, what the producer rates are for that level of producer that you're working with, what the studio rates are for day by day, for half a day, for rehearsal. You need to figure out what it's going to cost, what you're going to need, and you need to break down that cost in your budget. They want to know that that money is going to be taken care of and it's going to get you the end result that you have explained in your application. Okay, number 5. I know this sounds really simple and super patronizing, but check your application. You'd be surprised how many people don't. Do yourself a favor, go back to the start, make sure you filled in every box, make sure that the amount that you've requested matches the amount in your budget, make sure that your SoundCloud links or wherever you're hosting your music, your demos, your videos, make sure that those links work. If they're private, double check, get a friend to check it over, and then submit it once you're super happy with it. There are people there to help you. If you have specific questions, if you're not sure, if you don't have someone in the industry, which lots of people don't, who you can just ask, then all of these people at the funding bodies are there to help you. They want to invest in, innovative, great work. Number 1, read it. Number 2, allocate the time. Number 3, be really clear in your goals. Number 4, research your budget and be clear in your breakdown. And number 5, check, check, check again. Good luck with all your applications. All the best.